Going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's doing good. Here to talk a little Niner ball, little preview to the Bucks game. Mostly, we're going to talk about what happened last week and some of the just the news that's going on right now. But before we do that, I just got to say what's up to my guy Raj. What's going on, Raj? You got any breaking news for us?
No breaking news. I'm good though. How you been?
Pretty good. There's a saying from the Macho Man that says that sometimes the story behind the scenes is more interesting than what's on the video scope. And me and Raj can attest to that right before the stream started. Sometimes the behind the scenes conversations, the ones you can't talk about, they're pretty interesting. But anywho, let's talk some Niners stuff. Raj said right before I clicked live, let's talk about Jason Verrett. The Niners worked him out. I've kind of moved on mentally from him because he's always injured, and I love the guy to death. I think he's a great person and a great player when he's played. But the fact is, he's had a career that literally I don't think he's ever been healthy one season.
Yeah.
But Raj said he wanted to talk about it, so let's talk about it. What's your thoughts on Mr. Verrett getting worked out by the Niners?
You know, I love Jason Verrett. I think he's a phenomenal player. I've talked to him many times personally. Like he's a guy that I really respect in the game. In terms of being on the Niners, a veteran of the year. I love him. I think he'd be a great veteran. But this is the thing. This is where I draw the line. Like I love him, but the problem is, this is the way you got to preface Jason Verrett is he would be so good if he's healthy. The problem is he's just never healthy. So I feel like if the 49ers were to get Jason Verrett on the team, I don't know if you could trust him to be healthy. You know what I mean? Like he's coming off of another like just major injuries every single year. It's like big injury after big injury. He's had the ACL, the Achilles, shoulder, labrum, all types of injuries on a yearly uh, basis. You know what I mean? So I love the guy again, but the problem of the matter is he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. And the 49ers need to rely on players. Like the Niner fans chastise Debo for getting hurt and Kittle and stuff. Can you imagine they bring back Jason Verrett and he can't play? It's like, okay, they're just going to chastise him again. He's a great veteran. I love him in the locker room, things like that. But we need guys that aren't just like leaders and locker room guys. We need some players on the secondary. That's been the issue, right? So as much as I love Jason Verrett, I don't think they should. Now I know it's a workout. It doesn't mean that they're going to sign him. Texans actually had him on their practice squad. They never elevated him to the active roster. So I feel like the 49ers are just kind of keeping tabs on him and saying, okay, is he healthy? How's he looking? Is he ready? Because they saw him a couple of weeks ago. They did try him out. They did a workout and nothing came of it. And then he went to the Texans. The Texans kind of, had him on the practice squad. And again, he didn't play for them. So I feel like the 49ers are just kind of keeping an eye on this guy. I don't think they sign him. If they do, I don't even know if he plays on the team just because of the injury history. So again, love the guy. We can't rely on him.
Yeah, I saw the news and I thought, you know, about 6 years ago that would have been a really big news to talk about. But I mean, can he last a game? Can he last two games? I mean, the Niners are going down a stretch right now where this is their playoff run stretch. This is where they uh, start to you know get themselves in position to get their best seed possible. And someone like him would be essentially someone that you just bring along on a super emergency basis. Like I don't know, man. Like I don't even know why the Niners are doing it. Maybe just out of good faith because they really care about him
Yeah.
and the franchise itself and the guys in the upstairs really like him and the players. But I just don't see what he offers. I would go with Womack and Luter first.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
haven't had their shot, or at least Luter hasn't had a shot. So to me, it's kind of a non-story. I know it's kind of a feel-good thing.
That's a good
Uh,
way of putting it. It's more of a feel good situation for Jason Brett because everybody, when we posted the news today, oh, Jason Brett. Oh, my God. 2020 Jason Brett. What's up? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Because he is a great player if he's healthy, Aaron.
I don't even think he's been a healthy a full season once in his NFL career. I don't think he's made it through one. Maybe I don't think. I really don't know. Somebody educate me.
Maybe like, oh man, because he had that rookie season. Let's pull it up. Let's see how many games Jason Verrett has played through his career. Because It is not been great. Yeah, he's such a man. He honestly, this is what I say about Jason Verrett is he could have been a top 5 cornerback in the last decade. He could have been one of the best cornerbacks
Whoop,
decade if he
where'd he
would have stayed
go?
healthy.
I
If
kicked
he
you
would have.
and brought you back on the other side. What in the world?
Whoa, whoa! That was we switching.
We
We
switched
switching
bodies.
to the yeah. He did. Okay, so let's see. 2014, he played 6 games. He started 4. 15, he played 14 games. He started 13. 2016, 4 and started 4. 2017, he played 1 game. Niners 1 game in 2019. 2020, he had 13 games played where he started all of them. 2021, he played 1 game, which he started. So I mean, he's played 40 total games, 36 of which he started. I mean, that's terrible. And he's played since 2014, and he only has 40 total games. The guy and injuries tell the story. This guy was a phenomenal talent. I remember him coming out of TCU, and I was like, "Oh, this guy is the guy. He's such a good corner." I was like, "Oh my god!" And the injuries just demoralized. I remember the game that his breakout game. It was I think it was 2015 again when he was with the Chargers against Antonio Brown. This was maybe his
Yeah,
second year in the league,
I was
and
just going to ask you about that.
he was Antonio Brown at this time in the league was like the receiver. He was like the premium AB, was wide receiver 1 in the NFL. Like he was the guy, the standard. And Jason Verrett put the clamps on him. He shut him down. And that after that, it was like, okay, Jason Verrett is a top flight cornerback. And after that, unfortunately, just could not stay healthy. Again, Achilles, ACL, shoulder, Achilles, ACL, like big injuries after big injuries.
That's
The thing I love about Jason Brett though is every year he keeps trying to come back. Like he has had all these injuries and he's still trying. Like this man loves the game of football. Like you can't take that away from him. The perseverance, like he's a motivational player, man. Like you look at the in the dictionary adversity, he's probably gonna be the face right next to it. But I don't think the Niners should do it. I love the guy though.
talking about a guy who's always injured. Hey, I have good news for the chat. I'm going to see an orthopedic doctor tomorrow. So maybe I'll get taken out of work or.
Are you the Jason Verrett of content creators?
Yeah, I'm the Jason Verrett of content creators. I'm big and crippled. Yeah, get getting my knee looked at again, felt people. So wish me luck. Real quick, I just want to say hi to the chat. We had Tej Beats come in here before. He said, "Yeah, 49ers throwback as usual, always represented in the chat.
Always.
We have the most wonderful individual in the entire world, Miss Lorcat. Thank you so much." Steven Reynolds, he says, "What's good, Raj? Hit that like button."
Good, Steven. What's good, Steven?
Got Debtopia. She says, "Hey guys."
What's up, Deb?
Raphael 562, another long time subscriber to my channel and probably on Rogers too, I would assume. So thank you very much.
Raphael 562, I think he tunes into every Niner content creator. This is the
Do you have like 25 tabs? Well, 100 tabs open because there's only like 100 of us.
Yeah, I don't know. He's always there, man. He's always like, "What's up?" Whoever's the show, he says what's up to him. He says to like and subscribe. I love this guy's awesome. All the shout out to everybody in the chat today. What's going on? We love you all, man. We love you all.
Val Brooks in the chat.
Yeah, shout out to Val.
What's up? Hello, Val. Let's see. We got Rashad, aka AKI. Oh man,
my boy Rashad. His birthday. I know he commented it on another live the other day. His birthday's this Sunday. Niners got to get him the dub.
We got to get it. We got to get a victory for you, homie.
Yeah.
Christine Workman, thank you for coming through. Appreciate it very much. We have Susan D in the house. What is up? Hey, Peter Parker, always here saying really kind things. So thank you so much for being able to check out the stream.
What's up, Peter
Parker? We got my dog, Frank Tom Ocean, liked on smashed on both channels. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate you very much. We got SF Flood 2542. He says, "What's good, fam?" He asked us, why are we still talking about him? Why are we talking about JV still?
Well, that's the big news story of the day. I haven't been home all day. Haven't got.
Yeah, it was kind of yeah. He's been working all day, man. So he wants to talk about it. We talk about it. I do it. Raj is the leader.
I call the shots here. We calling the shots.
Raj, through the internet gives me the white glove slap. Like,
no,
this is what we're doing, big man.
Boy, Aaron. But the show does say our 49ers take. So I'm first. I'm the lead.
Yeah, you got two words, so you're ahead.
That's why I do it like that.
Oh God. Raj is the GOAT. I totally agree with that. I want to talk because I haven't talked to you about the last game, so we'll kind of mix how you felt about Chase Young's debut and what you're looking forward to against Tampa Bay. How are you about that particular debut? I was over the moon. I bet you he's got a Chase Young jersey, doesn't he?
Not yet.
I was like, what the hell is he pulling up? Is that? But like, what was your thought? I mean, like, I had really low expectations because I'm a negative New Yorker, and that's just how I am. But I was pleasantly surprised how great him, Bosa, and Hargrave looked in that game. So I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. I remember last week I said Chase Young is going to be a difference maker. Chase Young is going to be focused, and he's going to be about his money because he's on a contract here, Aaron. And what I call it, so first and foremost, we got to talk about this. So Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Week, right? Nick Bosa was Defensive Player of the Week. Do you know why he was Nick Bosa was the Defensive Player of the Week? Because of what I called the Chase Young effect. Chase Young unlocked the defense. He opened it up. We finally have a good defensive end on the other side of Nick Bosa. None of these like fake
that we talked about in March.
Like exactly. We didn't have a guy that's like could be. Oh, Drake Jackson could be. Well, Clellan Farrell, he had, but D Ford,
Austin Bryant, who's not even on the team anymore.
Austin Bryant got cut the other day. Like this is what we've been screaming. Get a good pass rusher on the other side. I'm watching this Bengals Ravens game. They got Jadeveon Clowney. They could have got him this offseason. They just needed a talented guy that could actually rush the passer, that has speed, that has strength, that's actually good at his job. Not a guy that, he's Chris Kasurek will just mold him into. No, we finally got a dog, Aaron. And Chase Young, he played one game with Nick Bosa, and it was instant impact. Can you imagine? They're going to get better together. Nick Bosa you talked about you were through the moon. Nick Bosa was so happy on Sunday. Chase Young's debut was a home run. Smash.
You know what song was playing in my head?
What's
People, let me tell you about my best
friend. Yeah, yes.
That was the song that was playing in my head when I was watching those two together.
I had the song that was going through my head.
Skipping down the street.
I had them like skipping through like a field of flowers like you see in the movies. But I had the song Reunited and it feels so good.
That's right, people. You're getting some singing on this stream. That's what we do here.
I was like, those two guys, they're like best fucking friends. Oh man, I loved it. I
like this illegal duo. It is. It's definitely illegal. It's not fair.
Yes.
Raphael wants to know which is a better team, 2019 or this line. I think this line is. I think this line. He's healthy.
That's tough. I think the 2019 line was just better. Like
okay, you know what? Let me take that back. Bing. I forget. You mean you had D Ford if you just put him in a bubble, and that's true. You had DeForest Buckner, Armstead, and Bosa. Yeah, you're right. 2019 was better.
But it's close because on Sunday, Javon Hargrave proved why the Niners signed. Like he kind of went away for a couple of weeks. That we talked about the Javon Hargrave needs to step up. Armstead's been doing his thing. Armstead's Armstead. He's been the same since he was in 2019. I like Armstead. He's good against the run. But they never have had that guy on the other side. But this D-line has potential to be better than that 2019 because Nick Bosa is better. You know, he's not the rookie that he was in 2019. I posted the other day, last night, because actually the Bengals are the first team he ever got a sack. The first game Nick Bosa ever played was 2019. For week 1, it was against the Bengals. His first game, he got a sack. Jameis Winston was the quarterback on that team. And it was not Jameis Winston. What am I talking about? Was he? Yeah, Tampa Bay.
It was Jameis Winston.
Tampa Bay. It was Jameis Winston. He played Tampa Bay. It was Jameis Winston. And he got a sack. And that was his first game. And now, 4 years later, you flash forward, he had the Defensive Player of the Year. He's got the Defensive Rookie of the Year. And now, it's crazy. As bad as people want to say he is, he has 47 and a half sacks in 4 years. And you got to remember, one of those years he missed because of that torn ACL. That's 4th best in franchise history. It's crazy. He's so good. So he's come a long way from that rookie season. But my point is, he's never really played with the guy that's great. Like D Ford was a guy that if he would have stayed healthy, God, man, Nick Bosa probably could have like 60 sacks right now. But that's why I love the Chase Young, the addition of him. This D line has potential to be better than that 2019 because Hargrave is a monster, but DeForest Buckner in the middle that year was just he was untouchable. He was untouchable. He was so good. He was so good.
We should have kept him and got rid of Armstead.
Yeah, that's another story.
But that's that's water under the bridge. Christine Workman says Aaron. Well, I'll say Raj too. Who gets to Baker first? Bosa or Young? Neither. It's gonna be Hargrave.
Ooh, I like. I think
what they're gonna do is they're gonna screw everything up because they're gonna take the tackles and they're gonna kick him out, and then Hargrave's just gonna bull rush his way. He's gonna get it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Hargrave.
He's playing good. Like I said, he's played very.
Saying either of them would be too easy an answer. I guess Burrow can't grip the ball right now in the game they're watching.
Yeah,
something happened to his hand.
It's not.
Oh, great! Give Kansas City an easy path again to the Super Bowl. Great.
Come on.
What else is new?
What else?
Like the Patriots every single year. They had no resistance. Straight to the Super Bowl. Straight to the Super Bowl.
Easy money.
AFC
meanwhile,
East automatic 6 wins every single year.
Meanwhile, the 49ers got to deal with the Eagles and upstart Lions and the Seahawks.
Yeah. Miami better get their self into gear. My brother's team, man, they got a chance if Burrow goes down. They need to get their ass going.
I don't know. They can't beat a good team. They can't beat a good team.
They can't beat a good team.
The Bills are terrible now.
Yeah. It literally looks like right now a 2-team race. Baltimore and Kansas City. Right now to me. And the NFC is kind of like, I don't know, 4-team race.
4 teams.
Lions, Eagles, 49ers, Cowboys.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Something like that. I want to ask you about this because it's a question that's coming up. Any chance the Niners can keep Chase Young next year? Any contracts that they could unload? Me and the guys Monday, or me and Ted, we talked about maybe getting rid of someone like Armstead, Juszczyk, to keep a guy like
there's
Chase
contracts Young. They can mess around with. They're not going to bring everybody back. It's a business decision. It really depends. This is what I've been talking about is right now they're not even focused on that. They're focused on making sure that Chase Young comes in and becomes that X factor they needed, which so far, so far so good. So I think they can, but it really depends on how much he does this season, right? If he comes in and he's just like this X factor game wrecker and every game he gets a sack, like his price is going to be expensive. So even if they do some things, hedging some players, it might not be effective because they still got to pay Brandon Ayuk. If they want to keep him on the books, they got to pay Brandon Ayuk. Certain contracts start kicking in. So it's tough. I'm sure they could restructure deals. The 49ers are so good at restructuring, and Chase is going to have to come to the Niners. Will the Niners be? So let's say he finished the season with like 6 sacks for the 49ers, and that would be 11 total because he had 5 coming in. It's a pretty good season in 8 games, right? So if he were to do that and, have a really good season with the 49ers, the Niners have to see how much he really means to them. Would they want to get him? Because they do have Robert Beal, who they're developing, and maybe they think he could be this great passer. I don't think Robert Beal is going to be as good as Chase Young in his first season when he finally played, because it's looking like it's a redshirt year for him this year, even though he's had his practice window open. But the 49ers have to determine, do they really want to bring Chase Young back? And if they do, how much is it going to cost them? Do they want to pay him more than any other team? Because if they're not going to pay him more than any other team, and he sees, because if he goes crazy, has a big season, he's going to see big dollar signs. The Niners might not be able to match it. So then it becomes Chase Young deciding, well, I might get more money to go play for like the Patriots, but they're sorry. But I kind of love the vibes here with the 49ers. He said all the great things like, oh, I love the locker room. I love Nick Bosa. It's a different vibe. It's a family. He's saying all the great, like he said how the team embraced them. It's a better fit than Washington. Like this is his best team he's played for so far. It's been 1 week, and he's like a kid in the candy store. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. And again, Nick Bosa and him, it's like a dream for those two guys. So if he really wants to stay here, he has to be willing maybe to take a little bit of a pay dip, because there's going to be teams that have a lot of money and they're going to throw it at him. So that's kind of where I'm at it. I think they can bring him back. It just depends on how mutually they both are going to want to be. And it's going to be a fun rest of the season with those two, with the 49ers and Chase Young. And I hope that every week they can just say, look how great it is with you here. Like him and Bosa, I think that connection is going to be the bridge to bring him back if he does come back. I think Nick Bosa is the key.
Oh man, Julius, you don't have to post your comment 3 times. I saw it the first time. He says, I think players would be willing to restructure their contract to resign Young and Ayuk. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, it depends. They come up if they come up short again this year and they are so close, they might will do it again. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we'll kick the can down the road again. But eventually, they got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
The 40 million. Does any of it get rolled over next
So
year?
so right now, whatever their cap space, if they don't use it all, it gets rolled over. But the thing is, they got
They're over the cap next
they're gonna
year.
be they're gonna be it's gonna be bad next year because they got contracts kicking in here and there. The cap does increase, so it really depends on how the situation goes. Because again, they're gonna have contracts that open up to a bigger cap hit next year. So then they are gonna have to restructure regardless. Down the line, the 49ers are going to, no matter what. They always do. So it's something that they really are going to have to make sure they prioritize in terms of, do they really want to commit to Chase Young? And we're going to see, right, down the second half, if they're really committed to him, we'll kind of see those signs as things coming forward. But again, 49ers are tough in negotiations. Sometimes they wait around, and I don't know if Chase Young is going to be a type of guy that wants to wait around in negotiations because he wants to get paid, man. Like he didn't get his contract, fifth-year option picked up with the Commanders. I think the writing was on the wall. It seemed like his departure with the Commanders was kind of, I wouldn't say messy, but it didn't look like it was a very good ending. There was reports that he didn't like there was report he didn't have a good attitude, this and that and the other.
Who
And
would
then
want
he
it?
said,
Yeah, look where he's playing now.
yeah, and Washington's had a bad history overall. Dan
With a
Snyder,
lot of
like,
players, there's always
yeah,
been bad blood.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even like when I saw those reports. I was like, honestly, I don't even I took them with a grain of salt because I was like, how many players have bashed the Washington organization? So I don't care that it was Washington because guess what? They've had a bad rap with Trent Williams. Trent Williams hated Washington. He asked to be sent away wherever he could go, and that's why the Niners got him. So the 49ers have a lot of pull right now with Chase Young because again, when he came in last, he was like, "Bro, this is amazing. I love it. It's a different atmosphere. It's the Niners do it so differently." So I think that's one thing he's seen that he's never seen in the NFL. But he's never been in the free agent market. He's never been wined and dined, and that's going to be something that he's got to deal with. So next year in the free agency market, there's going to be teams that are going to be dangling the steak over his mouth, like, "Oh, look, here's some prime rib while we go out. You should come play for the
You
Cowboys."
want
You know
some
what I mean?
crab?
Yeah, there's gonna be a
Come
lot
on.
of teams
Yeah.
that are gonna wine and dine this man. So
We Mr. Joe, you're saying all the right things in the chat. We can't sign everybody. Not
yeah,
happening. Not happening. Everybody wants to get paid. He says that's why you got to bank on our draft picks. You're right, man. The
yeah,
Niners have. I think the Niners just have to hope. I mean, if they do sign someone like that, that means they can't keep a guy like Gregory as backup. But if a guy
yeah,
like Beal comes in and plays, I have hope for Beal, even though a lot of the reports are he might not turn out to be anything. He's kind of raw beyond raw, and I don't know, he didn't look good in camp or whatever. So,
yeah,
but I mean, things can change. We'll see. We didn't blow our stack on draft picks for trades this year, so
yeah.
I'm confident that the 49ers, you know,
Yeah, they got
they
like
have
11 draft picks this year, and well, Joe Burrow's questionable wrist injury. He just left the game. That's crazy.
man.
It's unfortunate. So real quick, so going about this draft, I do want to make some. I just want to say something. I know it's early, but I feel like these last two drafts, like I know we're hyped in the moment. Oh man, this guy has these draft picks. These last 2 years have not been that great. I mean, there's been a few players that stood out, but well, Aaron Banks, he wasn't drafted in the last 2 years. He was 3 years ago. So I mean, last year's crown jewel was Drake Jackson, and I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson, but he's not it, man.
You're not for real.
And Danny Gray, injuries. Darrell Luter hasn't really got to show anything. Jair Brown, they're just waiting for him to maybe play next year when Tashawn Gibson comes out and he's not on the team anymore because he's not going to be back. He's signed a 1 year
Right.
deal. I think Jair Brown has potential, but again, we don't know. We expect him to do good. We expected Drake Jackson to do good, and now he's on the injured reserve list. I don't know. These last two draft classes have been underwhelming. I mean, other than Brock Purdy, I guess.
Well, sometimes we have to give it time.
Yeah.
Sometimes draft classes take a while to kind of work out. Thing too now with the Niners is that depending on where their draft picks are, the Niners could essentially, I mean, they got to save money somewhere, but trading for veterans that have already played, trading for veterans that have already played over guys that they have to hope work out or turn into something. So the way I look at it with the Niners is they don't have to keep all their draft picks this year. You know, maybe keep 7 of them, but make sure you're banging on them. You know, like get a tackle, you get an offensive tackle, you get a corner, maybe another edge, another corner. You know, they've got to hit this year. They got to get the Niners defense needs some reinforcements in the secondary because I think secondary, and I guess we could talk about that next before we go on anything else. Is the secondary still the weak part of this defense? I think it is personally, even with the pass rush being what it can become. Are you kind of in the same mindset?
Yeah, I mean, the pass rush was better this week, so I think it really helped. I mean, the secondary played better this week. Shout out to sideline Steve. You know, he really improved his scheme. The defense played better. Obviously, we saw the pass rush was great. With more pressure, it's going to help the secondary. It's going to take pressure off the back end. So, yeah, I think it's going to help, but they still are. If you're going to say, if your statement is the secondary is the weak link of this defense overall, absolutely, that's the weakest link. Mooney Ward played better, but he is physical, and I don't know if he's always going to get the calls that he needs to get because he's not respected by the refs yet. You know, if you're a press man corner, you got to be very careful. They're going to call you for those PIs. And, Ambry Thomas stepped up last week, but can he do it again every week when you got to play against guys like DK Metcalf and, guys of that nature? A.J. Brown, is he going to be able to get, the clamps on A.J. Brown? The last time Ambry Thomas played A.J. Brown when he was at Tennessee Titans, A.J. Brown came back from the injury reserve and just, I hate to use this, I'm not going to use the bad words. I'm going to say he rocked them. He cooked them. He dominated Ambry Thomas. So is he going to be better this year against a guy like A.J. Brown? I don't know. And then you got Deommodore Lenoir, who everybody's been hating on Deommodore Lenoir. And I get it. He has, he missed some tackles here and there. But people got to remember, he switched from outside to slot now to the nickel spot. It's a transition. So I know he didn't have the best game last week, but he's transitioning. He was on the outside. Now they had to move Ambry. They're still trying to figure out who's best at where. So, yes, that is a weak link. If you still don't know who your best combination of players are at that position, it's an absolute weak link, Aaron. Like, that is not good. It's week 11, and you still don't know who the hell your starting secondary is. That's a weak link to me.
What was your overall take on the offense this past week, and how disappointed were you that Christian McCaffrey came short of the record? I was kind of bummed during the game, but I'm already over it. What about you?
Yeah, honestly, I probably was the only Niner fan that was like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. He's healthy. We won the game. It's not a big deal. Everybody was crying. They were getting mad. They were texting me, put the starters back in the blood. Chill out. He's healthy. You want to risk this man's injury? Like, I get it. It would have been a crazy, cool
We're
record.
winning a game by
winning
like
a game.
gazillion points.
31-point lead. Like, this, it's fine. There's nothing to prove. Like, yes, I get it. It would have been historical. I love CMC. He doesn't need to prove anything to me that he's a fucking legend. But I get it. It would have been nice to see the record. But I was like, okay, whatever. Honestly, during the game, I was kind of like it was nice that Kyle wanted him to try to get the record. Like, and he's talked about it, how it meant a lot to him. But during the game, you're up 34-3. And I'm like, if he gets hurt here, I'm going to be so pissed off. I'm going to be so mad that they left him in. Again, record's great and all.
Breaks his leg for no reason.
I'm just happy that he's healthy and he's good and he still kicked ass. I loved how they used him in the offense this week as a receiver, and spreading the ball out more with him. But yeah, I really, as soon as the game ended, I was like, whatever, it's fine. Everybody was crying. They were crying. I loved his response though. He was like, I suck. Everybody scored by me. I love how he is. He's humble. He's like, whatever. He kind of, that's the vibe I was like, all right, we move on. It is what it is. They tried. And then you had people saying, I saw people saying this on Sunday. Oh, how come the Jaguars didn't let him score? I can't believe the Jaguars. You think a team's just gonna let someone score? No,
They get
got
paid too.
Yeah, man,
Who
they
the hell
got
would let a
pride on
team
the
score
line.
and you lose by 37 points instead of
Come on.
whatever? My thing is I think the offense looked great last week.
Yeah,
We got to give some love to Brock Purdy, man.
let's do it.
Let's give some love to the little man number 13. I'm so sick of I get after my guy. I get after my guy's head because he's really tough on him. But Ted's biggest issue is people calling him elite. I don't think he's
Yeah,
elite
yeah,
yet
he's
either.
not elite yet, but he's
Can we
getting look.
stop with? Can we just stop labeling people? Can we stop always having to have a definition for somebody? Can we let a guy go through a season and not rank them every single week? Ted, I love you,
But
Ted.
that's what people do.
But it makes for good content. People get into it. People argue. People get mad at each other. So but I'm listen, man. This offense is as good as it's been, and people say, well, yeah, Jimmy had weapons. This offense wasn't like this with Jimmy.
No, no,
We
it
could
wasn't.
barely score 20 points
He
half the
barely
time.
scored 20. Now, I'm glad you brought it, Jimmy, because listen, today on Tolbert and Copes on KMBR,
Okay.
Kyle Shanahan, he brought up how Brock Purdy taking risks is positive, right? So we all remember on Sunday a risky pass. He threw it to BA in the end zone. People were saying he just threw it up. If you watch that game again and you watch that pass again, I kind of actually saw him really try to actually bend it. He did pass it to Ayuk. Like, I think he did anticipate it. When you first watch it, you're like, oh my God, that's a Brett Favre type throw. That's throwing it up in the air. Like, yeah, maybe it was a little risky. He did throw it up. There was a lot of defenders there. But if you watch it again, he actually did anticipate where Ayuk was going to be, and he put it right where Ayuk was. It was a great pass. I thought it was a great pass. People were like, oh, you got lucky. I can't believe you threw that up. And then Kyle at first was like, I can't believe that was a bad mistake. It was a risky throw. Da 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 da. And then through the week, he was kind of like, it was risky, but I think it worked out. I'm glad it did. And then today, he says that Brock Purdy's risk taking is positive. This is what he said. He says, I fucking love this quote. He goes, I want a guy who gives us a chance to win the game, not a guy who is just hoping everyone else wins it for them. Fucking mic drop. That to me is a sneak diss on Jimmy G. What do you think? I'll be right back. But you
100%.
yeah.
100%. What do you think, chat? Was he sneak dissing Jimmy Garoppolo with his comment that he wants a guy that will go out and win it as opposed to a guy who expects others to win it? I think it was. Everything had to be perfect for Jimmy Garoppolo. And with Brock Purdy, he kind of makes things happen. 49ers throwback. You said shots at Jimmy Garoppolo and Steve Young. Doesn't disagree with Kyle. You got to take risks. 100%, man. 100%.
You got it. You got to take the risks.
I was mad when he did it, but I was very happy right after.
Honestly, yeah. When he did it, I was like, "Oh my!" This was my reaction. I saw him like scramble, and that's the thing.
It's like no.
He scrambles, and I'm like, man, that's something we haven't had on this off. Like his ability to create, because he scrambled. But if you watch, he pointed. So I think he knew the whole time. He pointed. He told the motherfucker like, "Yo," he pointed, and he just throws a rope. I was like, "Oh, that's a laser beam," and then shoom. Ayuk lands with it. I was like, did he just throw that to Ayuk? What? Like, I think he planned it that way. I think he did. I know people are like, that's risky. That's risky. When I watched it again back on the 22, it really looks like the ball just sailed right where I think he planned it that way, but it is risky. But I love that he's taking risks, but because you're right. If you're an elite quarterback, so going back to what you said, Aaron, if you're going to be an elite quarterback, you have to be the guy that is the reason why you win. Like in the fourth quarter, when the game's on the line, you have to be the guy that puts your team in position to win. What are you going to do to elevate your team? You know what? If you're just dink and dunking, you're just handing the ball off 8 times and you're only throwing 8 completions in the game. Did you really do anything? You're just participation. You're getting a participation trophy, right? That is the difference. Brock Purdy takes risks. Now I know he hasn't succeeded a lot from behind, but during doing this kind of stuff is how you're going to develop. You have to take a little bit of a risk here and there. Sometimes it's going to hit you and it's not going to work out. But I love the fact that he's doing it because what Kyle said is absolutely right. Before we were relying on the defense, we were relying on the skill position players. We were relying on Debo to take a 5-yard screen pass and go 90 yards. We were relying on Kittle to take a 10-yard screen or slant over the middle and then yak his way down to the end zone. Like We don't have to. I mean, it's nice that we can still do that, but now you have a guy that can scramble, create, call his shots. He even pointed at Juice when he got that Juice touchdown. He runs and he's like, he points at me. Like, he
That was a
knows
nice throw.
that was a dart,
Can
man.
we
Like,
talk
there's
about how good the throw was to Kittle down the
oh,
sideline?
that play too. God, I mean, he drops back,
Wow.
fucking
Listen,
pump fake,
man, you can't
pump fake,
compare this man to Jimmy. Jimmy never threw downfield and Jimmy never took risks.
pump fake, steps in. The defense is
Oh,
on his mouth, and he just
right. He was literally like chest to chest with the defender.
flick of the wrist, flick
And
of
it
the
was
wrist.
a perfect throw. Perfect. Kyle freaking Mike dropped it. He turned around when it was not even, he hadn't even scored yet and was just like,
He did.
like
I
a
loved it,
little bit
man.
of a Tiger Woods, little Michael Jordan. Yeah, that was beautiful.
I love it. You know, he
We
was
got to
like,
give kid credit. Nobody wants to give him credit. And it's like, you can get after him for, not coming up well at the end of the last couple games. That's a fair
absolutely,
criticism.
absolutely, and that's what I
But
said.
he's also, I just feel like we're so afraid to give anybody any credit because of, criticism or hate, that we're a stan or we're a lover or this, that, or the other. I still get scared watching football because Garoppolo kind of gives me PTSD, or Brock Purdy gives me PTSD of Garoppolo, because anytime Garoppolo threw over the middle, it was like a 50-50 split, whether the linebacker was going to get it or, one of our skill position guy was. But this is a totally different offense. I mean, they can score 40 points a game. They could have scored. I think they could have scored over 40 points in this
Yeah,
past
easily
game.
they could have, and you're right, because the thing is, in the past, that's what we did. It was middle of the field. You throw in the middle of the middle. Like if you watch the pass chart, after every game, Next Gen Stats always post like the pass chart and stuff. Brock is all over the place. He throws outside the numbers. He throws outside here. He'll throw a little bit in the middle, scatters it. Jimmy, his pass chart was like everything was in the middle. It was all here. Oh, so if you're a defender, just sit in the middle. You're gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
This guy Brock.
Squat on. Some guys you got to squat on the sticks.
Yeah,
With
that's
Jimmy, you
it.
don't even have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about playing the sticks or the out of bounds. Let's talk a little bit about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming into town. They got some good offensive skill positions. Their quarterback might be lackluster. You got Godwin. You have Mike
Baker.
Evans. The Niners secondary is going to be tested in this game. And this really, again, comes down on defense to the Niners being able to get in the face of and rattle the quarterback, Baker Mayfield, which I think they can. They have some players on that offense, though, that we got to. I think sometimes people like automatically see a team and they're like, "Now we got this. We got this." It's never like that. The 3 games that we lost showed me that this year, we can't be that way as 49er fans. Like, "Oh, we got them. We're gonna drub these guys," and then we lose to them. So after the game, if you guys didn't see, there was a locker room kind of rah-rah thing, and Fred Warner's like, "We've learned our lesson. Let's do it one game at a time."
Yeah.
Like literally approach it one game at a time. Because I honestly think, and it's human nature, when they beat the Cowboys, dude, the Niners were feeling themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
And they got, I can't say cocky, but the
No, they did.
Niners probably
They
were
did.
reading the headlines and looking at how great they were, and then it's human nature. It happens.
They were cocky, Aaron. They were. I could tell. They were.
That
It was.
Browns game, the Browns punched them in the mouth, and they did not know how to react.
They didn't know, and they kind of. I think it staggered them a little bit. It's like a heavyweight fighter. They get staggered. It takes them a little bit to come to. It took them a little bit of time to come to after they got jacked. They got rocked in the mouth. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. Tampa Bay. I know everybody's expecting a big game, blowout. They're 11-point underdog right now. I think Tampa Bay is going to be a tough matchup. I think that it's going to be closer than people think. Low key, I feel like it's kind of a trap game, Aaron. But the guys you mentioned on offense, you got Mike Evans and Godwin. They got some good players. Baker's actually played pretty good ball this year. I'm not going to sit here and say he hasn't. Out of all the free agent quarterbacks that were signed this offseason, probably the best. I mean, he's not horrible. He's having a good season. I mean, it's not like an elite season, but he's playing good. He's moving the ball down the field. He's not horrible. Secondary is going to be tested. We talked about it. They're the weak link on defense. They're absolutely going to be tested. But to me, the part of the Buccaneers that is even more tough to deal with is their defense, their defensive line. They blitz a lot. They got Vita V, Shaq Barrett. Those guys are dogs. They blitz at a very high rate. Todd Bowles is a big time, aggressive defensive guy in terms of blitzing. I don't think Todd Bowles is a great coach though, so I think Kyle Shanahan can out scheme him. Um, but he does love to pin the ears back and blitz. They got great linebackers. The 49ers have a phenomenal linebacker duo, but so does Tampa Bay. They might be the only team that rivals the 49ers in linebacking duos. And it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a good game. I think they even have Antoine Winfield. Like, they got some good players in the secondary. Tampa Bay is a sneaky team. Their record probably isn't as good as it should be, but I think it's going to be a tough game. But I think 49ers playing at home, and like you said, with Fred Warner kind of refocused, and he knows like you can't take any game lightly. Like, I think that's the mentality of this team is okay. We can't get too ahead of ourselves. But again, I feel it's a tragedy because after this week, you got Seattle, then you got Philly, and then you got Seattle. Those are 3 games. It's easy to look ahead. It's easy to look ahead.
Your microphone's got a little bit of interference on it. Unless it's me.
Are we good now?
It might be me.
You good?
It's like crunchy. I don't know. Anybody else? Yeah, that's enough on Rod. Yeah.
Nice. It's crunchy.
Yeah. Okay. So it is. Yeah, it just sounds crunchy.
Yeah. Uh-oh. You good? Test.
No, it's still there. Try like turning it off, like muting your mic.
I'll leave it.
Like Terminator was. Okay. I thought that was me. What's up? I got Bashar in the chat. What's going on, Bash? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I just want to say the pre-stream conversations are always the best. Isn't that right, Bash? Yes, sound problem. He's gonna come back. He's got a little bit of crunchy crunch. All right.
Oops. Test. We good?
A little bit better, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened.
Oh, it sounded like you were eating a bowl of cereal in front of the microphone. That's pretty much.
Yeah, it was crunchy. I heard it.
I think because we want to get out of here in a little bit. My man Raj has got some bangs, some work, some paperwork. But I guess to me, the Niners' biggest opponent for me right now is themselves, between injuries and complacency. Do you agree? I feel like the Niners, the game against the Bengals was a tough game. I think they would have struggled even if they were playing better, because I think the Bengals are that good as far as skill position player goes.
Yeah.
And I hope the Niners' defensive adjustments end up being something that's permanent and not just a one game, like a one off, and then we struggle again this coming Sunday. This isn't over. We got to come out with the exact same intensity on defense. Offense needs to, get the ball in the end zone. I think I'm confident the Niners will win against Tampa Bay, but I don't think this game is going to be a blowout, like Raj said. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people realize. It's the NFL, man. Every week's a new week. It's a 1-game season. It's a week-to-week league. I mean, look at the Bills. Look at the Bills, man. Like,
they're done. They're done.
I think the Bills are toast. Which for my brother makes him very happy because he's a Miami Dolphins fan.
Oh yeah,
we high fived so hard after that game. You know why I'm a little bit like on the Bills' ass a little bit is last year on my Twitter or on my Facebook, the Niners had another long season, right? They lost in the conference championship, right? Some Bills fan put up on their Facebook, who I know, I'm so glad the Niners are finally out of the playoffs, and I'm like, oh. See, now we got problems. So now when the Bills lose, I love it. So me and my brother were watching that game, and it was just a crap fest. The kick goes up, he misses it, the penalty's called, the kick goes up again, they win. we were dying laughing,
I couldn't
high-fiving each
believe
other.
that, dude. The fact that they had 12 men on the they deserved to lose that game. All the turnovers, all the stupid plays they did. I mean, Josh Allen, man, don't get me wrong. He's got great arm talent, but he can't win big games. That's it. That's all I'm going to leave it there. He's a little overrated.
He looks scared in big games.
He does.
Now, if you ask somebody like Ted, again, we're not bashing Ted because Ted's my guy. Ted thinks he doesn't have enough talent. He thinks that he essentially has one receiver and that's pretty much it. I can't say I disagree because they just don't have they don't commit to the run. The Bills.
No, they don't have a run game. That's true. They don't have.
They are a pass happy team who runs high school concepts in the pass game. Like they have nothing that scares you.
That's why Ken Dorsey was cut as the OC. He was running high school concepts. You know, it's crazy. There was a moment on 49ers Twitter. There's always a moment on 49ers Twitter. There was a moment, a phase, a trend maybe, when it's everybody wants to fire Kyle Shanahan when he does bad. That whole situation. But last year there was a time where it was like, go get Ken Dorsey, replace Kyle with Ken Dorsey, replace Kyle with Ken Dorsey. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine if he was the OC? Holy shit, they would never have gotten
49er fans. I love y'all to death, but some of y'all are some of the dumbest people I've ever seen.
Not these people. Not in our chat, Aaron.
Not in this chat. I'm talking about just as the people on Twitter, like some of the stuff I see, like for instance, and I'm going to bring this up again, and Bash knows exactly what I'm talking about. If he's still in the chat, like this talk, like people bringing up Trey Lance and how we should make a trade to get him back. Like maybe he's freaking Brock Purdy isn't it? Yeah, people talking like on TV, like do we bench? Is it time for Sam Darnold to take over? Like really, three games and that's it. He's done. Like it's just some of the takes from people. Some people aren't fans. Some people are just like lovers of certain players, regardless if they're on the team or not.
Yeah.
And they like to cause controversy and bring in other things.
49er cat. Jimmy. Yeah.
Like stuff that has nothing to do with sports, social issues and stuff. They try to mix that stuff into it. It's like, let's bring back Kaepernick. Like, really?
Yeah. Then they bring the race card in there and all.
Then the race card gets brought up, and it's just come on, we got to be smarter.
Yeah.
Some 49er fans are so fickle. Yeah.
Fickle. That's a good word. Fickle.
Mr. Joe, Twitter is toxic. Bro, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would get rid of Twitter in a heartbeat.
If I didn't have as big of a following as I did, I wouldn't do this anymore. But man, oh man, I got too many followers to not do it. It's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, could I just be a regular fan? Could I just be a regular guy? I can't anymore. Can't do it.
Yeah, you know what really gets me is when you're on Twitter is you can try all you want to be a good content creator and try to be professional and whatever, and you just never get over the hump. And then there's people that just come onto the scene that have hardly any clothes on, and all of a sudden they get skyrocketed to the top because we got a bunch of thirsty ass 49er fans that love seeing scantily clad women talk 49er football, and I think that's horseshit.
Wow.
So, and if you don't like what I have to say, I really don't care. It bothers me very much.
Aaron, from the heart tonight.
Sorry.
From the heart.
Sorry.
Tonight. Wow. So how about them Niners this weekend? What's your final thought?
Listen, man. My final thought is like the comment that was up here. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? From Debtopia. We'll close it out with your comment. I want to win. Score doesn't matter. I don't care. As long as the Niners have the W at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. We're gonna get out of here, guys. Let's do a real score projection real quick. We're about 4 minutes over because Rod's got to get going. For score projection for our prediction for the 49ers Bucks.
Man, you're making me pick my score prediction before Friday, but we're going to drop another score prediction tomorrow with Bash. But I will give you a prediction. 49ers will win. It'll be a 3-point. Nah, I'm going to go. I think they'll win by a touchdown. 7 points. 7-point victory. I don't know my score yet.
49ers 27, Bucks 17.
27-17. I like it. Okay. That's
10
cool.
points. They almost scored 20 points.
Okay.
49ers forced a couple turnovers, and Christian McCaffrey has another huge game, and we'll see.
Maybe he'll get
But
18 touchdowns in one game tomorrow to make up
right.
on Sunday.
I will match the scantily clad women and raise them a 49er sock. Use your imagination. Oh, yeah, we need to do a sock stream, guys. Just socks. That's it. Just socks. All right. Anyways,
I won't be there.
We're out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next Thursday. Remember, go Niners. And as David McNiner always says, F them lambs. We're out of here, guys.